right, we're back to it and trying to figure out why the minimap is not where we're positioning it to be. So yeah, why? So layout mode, position. So layout direction, yeah, it has left to right or right to left. That's not what we want. Size, position. What is pivot offset? By default, the node's pivot is its top left corner. When you change its rotation of scale, it will rotate around this pivot. Okay, we don't need to mess with that. Z index, texture, material, process, localization. Just let me save and run it one more time just to make sure. Yeah, okay. Oh, interesting. I can, in fact, unpause while... Oh, the dot is supposed to be where we're looking right now on the mini-map. But that's busted. Because our camera is weird. We could probably make it work, right? We just need to do some offset stuff. What if we rotate though? Then it's just like, I have no idea. Okay, maybe... maybe we can make that work if we just like unwind the camera rotation and then translate and like offset it. I don't. Okay, so we have a couple of issues. Shall we make a list of problems? That's helpful, right? Did our PR get merged? No, I didn't set it to auto merge because I wanted to look at the review comments. So let's see. What does Copilot think? Yeah, this is true. This is also true. True. Uh-huh. Yeah, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Because I don't want to mess with this anymore right now. I'm just going to ask Copilot to address all those things. Will it? Will I be happy with its results? Sometimes yes. Sometimes no. Anyway, let's talk about fixing the minimap. So we've seen some issues. What's the first issue? First issue is that the minimap position on screen even, is overlapping the currency bar. Yeah. Second issue is that let's look at the code to figure out what it's actually called. So there's a thing that shows where we are looking. Oh. In a real implementation, you calculate this from the navigation mesh. Right, the world bounds. Okay. So we'll add another thing. Calculate world. World bounds needs to be implemented. Okay. Yep. Draw camera viewport. Is this the thing that's showing? Oh, you have another panel? Create a symbol rectangle to represent camera view area.
I don't know what y'all think, but I think that's
Set
perfect.
size, set position, camera view color. So here's another thing where we're creating another node. Are we just doing this every time we update? Yeah, update minimap is called multiple times, right? Oh, from the timer. Every, whatever the interval is. Okay, so draw buildings and survivors. Yeah, I can see for this why we would do that. So are we... We must be emptying the minimap canvas? Yeah, clear minimap canvas. Okay. So every time we update the minimap, we are essentially deleting all the nodes in it and then recreating them. Okay. That might be subject to some optimization, but we'll not worry about that quite yet. So I just want to understand. I think camera viewport is the thing that's showing the thing that just like is mysteriously floating. Draw camera viewport. Add child camera indicator. Unless there's something else. So this draws enemies. Draw buildings and survivors. Okay, so this makes a survivor marker. Position equals minimap position minus vector 3,3. So weird. Okay, so we are... Why? Why are we subtracting 3 units? Okay. And then what are we doing for draw enemies? Oh, because of the size. The size is 6. Right? And so this is half the size. So you know what we do here? We say var survivor size vector 266. Now use that and then divided by 2. Okay. Then when we look at the code, we have an understanding that there's a relationship between these two things. var building size. It's actually 4.4 apparently. Now I'm making these changes. We still need to make sure that, you know, this code has been sitting here unused, untouched, unloved for a long time. So there may be bigger fish to fry, maybe larger issues to deal with, but this is just something that, to aid my understanding as I'm going, I'm gonna clear this up so that I'm not confused. Like, the objective here is not to make the code perfect. The objective here is for me to understand the code, or to understand the code is not understandable, and then go from there. But in doing so, I can, you know, make a small diversion. Okay, so like drawing a building, we have like a size of the dot, which is interesting. We have minimap size, we have enemy dot size. Okay. Like, theoretically, we could... I see. So one thing I want to do is I'm just going to change this so the enemy dot size is actually a vector 2. Like so. And here we just do this, and then it's consistent. Okay, which means we could, so one thing definitely do is move these things. They don't need to be created over and over and over again. I mean, just define them once. And then, hey, while we're here, let's export them. There. So we're setting the position of this panel that's going to represent the marker for the building as being whatever position that we're calculating the building, and then minus half of the size of the thing, so that instead of putting the top left corner of the marker at where the thing is in minimap world coordinates, minimap coordinates, we are putting the center of the panel over the point where it is. So that's what we're doing here. Now there are things. World to minimap size is it right? Minimap to world. Did we do that? Oh yeah, we probably do that for clicking the minimap, which is a thing we can do. We can click the minimap and we will attempt to change the position of the camera to be where we clicked. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale back what we're trying to achieve with the minimap. We're going to get rid of this. So that means in here we have a signal. Okay, I think that got, or no, it was in this one, right? We're gonna remove the signal. Okay. And then, yeah, so see how it says currently broken because of camera orientation? Features, top-down view of entire game area. Yeah, click to move camera functionality. Bye-bye. Configurable size and position, building survivor display, camera viewport visualization. It would be cool. I think let's scale back on that as well, because that'll make this way simpler if we don't have to do that. So we're gonna get rid of camera view color. And that's gonna indicate other things that I can remove, right? Because I can just see the red dot here. So all the camera indicator stuff, draw camera viewport, we're just gonna delete it. And we'll delete that. Very good. And we don't need the camera reference anymore. We don't need the camera. So this will do less, but hopefully will be easier to fix. So then our list of things here is really minimap position is overlapping and calculate world bounds. Are we using calculate world bounds? Probably, right? We set world bounds to be this, and we use that for world to minimap. Yeah. I wonder, I guess this this is almost definitely broken, because likely what's happening here is we are, oh, I wonder. No, it's fine. I think the issue is just the world bounds. If the world bounds is actually encompassing the whole world bounds, then everything going from 3D world coordinates to the 2D minimap coordinates, everything would be positive and fitting in the canvas, I think. Right, because normalized x and normalized z would be a value from 0 to 1. Yeah. And so then it would be a value of 0 to 1 times the size of the canvas. So that's why stuff is appearing outside the canvas right now, is because our world bounds are wrong. And so yeah, so these things are actually, well, no, I didn't write the third issue, which is that causes dots to be drawn out of bounds. Those are the issues. These are one and the same. But why is the minimap itself not moved below? I don't know. Don't know. Right. So because I'm positioning it here, anchor preset. What does this do? When active, moving control nodes changes their anchors instead of their offsets. Okay. What did that do? Anchors custom. Ooh. Okay. Okay. So what is, does this work? Have I learned something? No. No, I've not. I've not learned anything. Okay. Well, okay, so minimap here is inside of this top level. This is just a control, right? It's anchored to take the full rect. And why? Yeah, just why. Okay. So we have a control instead of a control. We'll do that. Oh, right. I'm gonna turn this off. Position. Okay. Is there something in the control here? Ah, anchor preset. Custom. Layout mode uncontrolled. I wonder. Right, so we have the scene defined that has the control in it as the top level node. And then we are using that scene in here, and we are changing things. Let's try this again. So if I put this way, layout mode anchors custom. Okay, so if I run this, does this work? Nope. Okay. Why must this be so painful? Does this need to be... I mean, control is the right kind of node, right? I think so. It's just a kind of canvas item. What if I took the value here and I pasted it here? Okay. Interesting. What do these do? Okay, anchor top left and then anchor offsets. 74. Oops. Okay, if I do that, I mean, I guess I could change this here. What if I got rid of all this position stuff? This team is very backwards. Right, of like positioning this here and then dropping it in here. Oh, interesting. Wait, then why didn't this do the same thing? I don't know. It'd be kind of frustrating if this works. Okay, good. This node doesn't have a control parent, I know. Yeah, full rect, sure. No, custom, top left, custom minimum size. Okay. Now just sit there. Mm-hmm. I might have to go look at a document. The horror. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so Godot control position. Okay, here's the documentation on controls. Yeah. If a control node is the child of a container, you cannot manually set its position. Well, it's not. None of these things are containers. Size and anchors might also be relevant. Yep, this is the UI section. Parent controller viewport, top margin control. Ooh. Do we have margin? Could we, instead of trying to position this, just use margin? No? Seems like no. Yeah, anchor offsets controls, which behave similar to margins. Custom anchor preset. Anchor offsets. So let's try that. Anchor. Custom. Anchor offsets. So we're going to do 20 left, 75 top. Okay. And does this work? I don't see why it would, because it seems to be the same thing that we were doing with setting the little anchor thing at the top and moving and dragging it. Yeah, good. Good. I'm glad it didn't work. Okay, so why wouldn't it work? So Godot control, anchor, no effect, not working, something like that. Using the wrong layout mode. The long layout mode, yeah. So UI is fine. Transform, container sizing. Okay, but it's not a node. It doesn't have a layout mode, and it's not a container. I guess the other thing we can do is we could go to Minimap. Okay. We could do this here. 2075. Now you would expect then that this would like double up the offset. It doesn't work, right? Because the thing that we're manipulating in the UI scene is the node that is the top node of the parent from the minimap scene. This still doesn't work. So why doesn't it work? You know what? When we go several iterations of this is not working, you know what we do? We reload the project. Because sometimes that's the answer. Why doesn't it work? Because Godot. Wasn't it this time though? Okay. Let's see. Do scene control anchors no effect? Node's parent does not provide a bounding rectangle for the anchors to calculate against. Not true. Not true. Not true. If your UI looks correct in the editor but breaks at runtime when reset, well, we haven't resized the window yet, so no. This sounds familiar. Adding control node scene to another scene resets anchors. Anchors only exist within context of the parent. If parent is a node TD or container, okay, it's not true. Canvas layer. Okay, well, here's the actual docs for the control. Lots of words, lots of words. Okay, not helpful. What are the things we can try? It's really interesting, right? Because it works here and that, like it's positioned correctly here, but when the game launches, it's not. Is interesting to me. Minimap. Oh. Do we think that's it? Nope. What is this? Okay, anchor point. Let me ask a different question, right? So if we look at the wave info. Speed, top bar utility, spawn indicator, this right here. So this has an anchor. What's its layout like? Layout direction inherited, layout mode anchors, anchor preset top right, and then it has a transform. Now when we look at the scene, it's a control. Okay, so we also have the position in here and anchor preset top right. Okay, that's weird, but sure. Top left, and then we're gonna move this. Nope. We're gonna move this. Nope. We're gonna hold on. Position. We're doing 20 by 75. Okay, like that. And then in the UI, the Minimap will have a anchor preset of top left, and it will have a transform position of 20 and 75. Okay, so now this should be set up the same way as the other thing. Still doesn't work. But why? But why? Also, I can't click here because the pause menu occupies the whole of the screen, so you can't click through it. Spawn indicator. So what's different? Layout direction inherited, anchor layout mode anchors, top right, has a size, it has a position. Localization, tooltip, focus, mouse, input, accessibility, theme, visibility, ordering, texture, material. Oh, hold on. This is my fault, isn't it? Does changing z-index break something? Don't know. Okay, well, let's see if we've been struggling because I changed that one thing for no reason. Nope. Great. I'm glad. Super. So what's so special about the currency display? Anything? Anchors top left. Okay, so Minimap? What am I doing that's weird here? I do now have a custom in minimum size, but I don't think we need that. Let me also remove that from here. Okay. So anything different? Uncontrolled top right. Size. Position. Rotation scale. Pivot. Container sizing. Wouldn't be applicable. We're not in a container. Clip contents, custom minimum size. There is a difference, which is that this. Oh, I guess the spawn indicator doesn't have any exports. Is that what it amounts to? Yeah, that's the difference. Something else weird going on here? Start hidden, sure. I guess this is an unused parameter, so. Okay. Are we changing something in ready? Oh, like set size? And position? Why would we do that? Well, why would you have that? It already has a size. It all makes sense now. Ta-da! Oh, there's a zombie coming. Now, one issue is that the... Come on, there we go. I might think about having the minimap rotate based on the rotation of the camera. Also, a lot of time here. I think, especially for this first scenario, I do want that time, and I also want some more like dialogue to come up to like tutorialize this. All right, look at that. Zombies are coming. It's great. Okay, so let's close all of this. It's all my fault. Which is, I wanted that tab actually. Give me that, oh, give me that tab back. Okay, so we're working on, not that. We're working on this, number 76. It's been around for a while. Issue number 76. Save in issue 76. Okay, we're gonna start committing changes. So it's gonna be kind of a bunch of different things that we've been doing. Okay, I don't think we need that line either. Great. I'll let this reload. Great. Gonna commit for that change. And this is just kind of some cleanup. Yep. Great. And then we need to implement the calculation of world bounds. How? What are the world bounds? Also, where is the... Oh, it's just kind of quiet. Okay. Music's there. Okay, so how do we get the bounds of the world? I don't know. Let's look at the scenario that we're in. Scenario 1.tscn is the scenario. So we have some things. These are things specific to this scenario. We have boundary settings, which are interesting. Boundary settings confine how far the camera can go, not necessarily where the zombies spawn. Can we... Let's look at the scenario script. Right, this stage scenario. Excuse me. Let's get this sidebar out of the way here. So this is the script that's attached to, or extended for the script that is actually then attached to each scenario scene. It's our levels, right? So maybe we want to look at the main scene, or maybe the scenario manager. Just thinking, like, somewhere we have to have a sense of what the, like, how big is the what am I trying to say? How much stuff is in the world? What are the bounds of the world? So if we look at, let's look at the main scene. So there's a bunch of code here for loading information from the scene to get the bounds that we then pass to the camera. But again, these are not the bounds of the world. Like, one of the things we want to do is that we have spawning areas that are in the world, and we set up the bounds for the scenario such that the camera can't pan out to where the zombies are just like poofing into existence. At least that's how I'm using this right now. It's really interesting. I don't hear the music. Hold on one second. Is it... Oh, right. So that makes sense. My earbuds have disconnected. There's always something, isn't there? Some kind of thing. Okay, so they are connected. Still don't hear anything. Let's see if I can fix that. Give me 1 second. Because if I can't hear the music, that also means if there's like any kind of stream alerts, I wouldn't be able to hear those as well. I won't be able to hear desktop audio because of the way I have things set up. So also the music isn't just for you, it's for me as well. All right, there we go. It was very distracting to be suddenly so quiet. Okay, so how do I figure out what the bounds of the world are? One thing I could do is I could make an export on scenario for like world size. So there's something like the hold on, let's look at the main scene, TSCN. There we go. So we have this navigation region, which we can't see because the main scene does not have anything to navigate on, right? It's reliant on loading a scenario and then updating the navigation region. But could we query the navigation region for the bounding box? How about we get to the navigation region? So it's a question. The main has navigation controller. That's what this is called, right? No. Navigation controller is this. That gets a reference to navigation region. Okay. How does... What are we passing into the UI? Nothing? Great. So theoretically, what we could do is we could provide an export on UI for the navigation region, and then the UI scene can make it available somehow to the minimap. Maybe. So that's the only thing we're using this navigation controller for. So if I look at the navigation controller, so this is a script that has a reference to the navigation region and just handles like recalculate, like rebaking the nav mesh for pathfinding. So maybe the first thing that I want to do is I want to actually look at okay, what's a convenient way for me to test some things out? Here we go. So let's say we have a navigation region. Hey Ty, how's it going? How you been? How's your Sunday? I was hoping that I could get some autocomplete of what's in the navigation region, but apparently it doesn't have a type. No, it has a type. It's a navigation region 3D. Have I heard about Sandbox? I have heard about it. I have not looked into it yet. Should I? Should I have? Okay, let me just go source to... Oh yeah, Gary mod. I heard it was kind of like Gary's mod. Yeah. It sounds promising. Hundreds of community-made games, a spiritual successor to Gary's mod, and a love letter to Source 2. I mean, I'm liking this. It's fun. It's nice. But I don't want to write C#. Alright, I want to look at the docs for this though. So we have properties we can set. So there's the navigation mesh in there. Godot is also C#, but I'm writing in GDScript. I could also read C#. And in fact, I was looking, one of the things when I was considering Godot was, could I do Rust? Could I write stuff in Rust and use it in Godot? And the answer, according to my research at the time, was yes. But yeah, behind the scenes, yes. So we can get navigation map, get navigation layer value, get bounds. Ooh, get bounds? Returns the access line bounding box for the region's transform navigation mesh. I think maybe this is what I want. Why don't you want to write in C#? I don't know. It's just not a language that I'm really excited about. And yeah. Verbosity, sure. There's lots of languages I could be writing in Erlang or Elixir. To be fair, I've never written in C# either. Yeah, it's been a little while. I did a little bit. I had a project at the company that I was at before it was acquired. That we had some legacy stuff that we converted to the containerizable .NET from like stuff that existed before Docker was the thing. So that was nice to be able to do that. And then I don't recall the specifics, but I definitely had some like contract work I did back in the day, back when I was doing like independent contractor stuff that I did in C#. But it's been a while since I've done any amount of serious code in it. Just Java when you were learning to make Minecraft mods. Python most of the time. Don't remember any of that in GDScript. Yeah, GDScript is very Python-like. That trips me up sometimes when I go to make a function and I start typing def instead of func. But yeah. Okay, so how do I get the get bounds from the nav region to where I need it, which is the minimap? That's a question. And we need to do it, like, it needs to be updated. Like, we need to be able to push the bounding box from navigation controller to the minimap. That is the question. So one thing I could do is I could just put a signal somewhere and then attach the signal. So what I could do is in the okay, here's what we do. In Minimap, instead of calculating world bounds, you're 0 on VS Code to GD. You feel like GD8 is good enough. Yeah, sure. I have spent a lot of time in VS Code, and still thinking about the idea of switching away again, trying to pursue some kind of NeoVim based thing. Hold on, let me snooze ads. I want to kind of get through this before we end today. So instead of calculating world bounds, what we're going to do is we're going to have a default. I don't know why it's a weird dimension, right? Let's just say 200, negative 200 to positive 200. We're not going to calculate world bounds. What we're going to do instead is we're going to provide a method called update world bounds, and we're just going to provide a way for something, probably the UI script on the UI scene, to be able to call into the minimap and update. Yeah, I think so. How's this gonna work? So I had an idea, and it's not quite concrete yet, but the idea would be maybe we want to update the minimap using something else outside. Yeah, basically, right? So the minimap has to translate the world coordinates into the minimap 2D locations for the dots. So we need the bounding box of the world to know how to scale where the dots are in the canvas and the minimap. So what I want to do is I want to get the bounds from the navigation mesh. And I think what I'm going to do here is we are going to, so this is recursive. Okay, we wait for bake to be finished. And when we have baked, we wait for it to be finished. And then we want to emit a signal. If we emit a signal, so navigation controller. Oh, here's what we do. To do a thing. Come back to that. So what we need is we need a handle on the UI. To send updates on bounding box. Okay, so I think, yeah, this is the right class name. We'll have the UI, and then what we're gonna do is we are going to say UI dot so we could, thanks Brainless. We could call a method on the UI, or we could emit a signal. If we emit a signal, updated bounding box dot emit, like this. If we do this, then in the UI, we only have to add a line to define the signal, and we don't have to make any other code changes. So I think I like that. Now I'm assuming, yeah, there's a UI.gd file. So we're going to define a signal like this, and it will be used. It will be used. And then in let me reread that other message. If it's me, I'd make a cloud data storage, make the yeah, I've done that a few different ways of like having a manager autoload and then like use that as an intermediate. But because these things are already all connected, there's like a path to get from there. They're all loaded at the same time. Wouldn't need to do an autoload. Yeah, make the minimap download the data every time. Sure. Yeah, I mean that's more of a push is what I'm doing on rebake. And it could be more efficient where like, oh, if nothing is changing, then we don't need to repush the bounds or, you know, whatever. But I'm not going to invest time in doing that until we get to the point where we like, oh, this is slow. Let me profile it. Oh, there's a problem here, and then we deal with it, right? Don't make problems we don't have. Like, don't try to solve problems we don't have. Okay, so in the UI, we need to, no, in main has the UI inside of it. We need to do what? What do we need to do here? Oh, yeah. So navigation controller needs a reference to the UI. So we can just grab that. What's really nice is because I've given on the export in the navigation controller script, because I've given it the type that matches the main UI class name of the UI component. The only thing highlighted here is the UI that's already in the scene tree. So that makes that connection formally, like threads it into the navigation controller. And then in UI, we have a signal now, updated bounding box signal, and then we can connect it to the minimap, which has a method called update world bounds. So that's connected. So now, whenever we rebake the navigation mesh, the new bounding box gets shoved into the minimap. And it doesn't work because there's no function get bounds on navigation mesh. It's a lie. It's a lie, but that's fine. So I think it's just get bounds on the navigation region. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we knew that because we looked at the docs. That was like what clued me in. We can definitely do this before I started making changes. But then I just accepted what the AI gave me. You just bought a magic trackpad and it felt so good. A magic trackpad. Okay. What is a magic trackpad? So good news is the Minimap doesn't break anything immediately. We exist in the world. However, I can see that aha! I've also found a bug. Apple? Okay. That explains why I don't know anything about it. Is this the thing that we fixed? Yeah, this is the thing that we fixed. Okay. We should probably pull down changes. Okay, so unfortunately, I don't think that this is exactly working. Give me some free scrap and build a turret. Ooh, I think maybe that will work. Let's see when the next one's is this error need to be fixed, or is it holding everything together? No, it's actually something we fixed earlier in the stream, but it's on a different branch that I haven't merged into this one yet. Okay, so when zombies spawn, are they going to spawn inside of the canvas? Inside of the shaded area here. Let's speed up time. Okay, here we go. Zombies should be spawning in. Yeah, it's still broken, right? Because if this was working correctly, these zombies would be inside of the box. At least I think so. So more troubleshooting to do, unfortunately, but I think this is still something that we needed to do to get the bounding box in. Let's add a logging line for feature me. So we'll have that. Excuse me. You're gonna get a shower in bed? Well, good night. Have a good shower. I'm gonna raid out, so let's go find someone to raid, and I will say thanks so much for coming out to the stream. Hope you have a good rest of your day, rest of your week, and we are gonna go search for someone out there to